channel. My name is Crawford and this is Virginia's for Lowriders. Today we are experimenting. If you bring your friends into your garage and you sit around long enough talking about nothing, they will in fact get bored enough to take parts off your truck and maybe replace them. But if you've never been here before, we are working on a 90 Ford Ranger. We are turning it into a lowrider. We have boxes of parts that we need to install. We've been working on the front end for the last couple of weeks, trying to get it completely wrapped and ready to go to where it can handle a lot of abuse. There is like 8 videos of this. There are 60 something videos of my Mazda. So if you've never been here, go check out all those. We're going to get into it. We are currently trying to take this massive brake booster off and put on a thinner one from an older Ranger to try to gain some room for the cylinders that will be in the front of the truck. This all came with a older style master cylinder, so we're going to make all that work. We're going to make some brake lines. I don't know if all that's going to get done today. We're going to concentrate on replacing that with those guys, and I'm going to concentrate on making some templates and wrapping the frame and getting this done so we can, I don't think I'm going to get out of the garage this weekend, but that was the plan. So, we've never been here before, do all the normal YouTube-y things.
No fires this weekend either.
We're not going to have any fires. We have 2 fire marshals because Justin failed at fire marshaling last week.
Our sponsor, V8 Fire Extinguishers.
Yes, this is the fire extinguisher again this week. We have it on standby just in case, but we're going to get into it and hopefully we can get something done. We're going to take off some old nasty stuff now.
Let me make sure the rod didn't hook back on.
How much brake fluid do you think's inside of it?
3 gallons. Because this isn't like you would think, where it goes inside.
Yeah, it has an eyelet. There's a weird eyelet,
It's
right?
just a nub welded on the side of the pedal.
Oh, really? There's no removable
So like
pin?
I went to push the pin out, and I'm like, that's weld. And I looked, and it's just welded.
Oh, so you have to move it out of the way?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was easy enough.
Oh, okay.
This thing is huge.
How heavy is it?
I don't know, a couple 100 pounds.
Good night, that's big. you versus the guy she told you not to worry about.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to convert it to the old style master cylinder, even though it's way heavier and bulky, but I didn't want to run the chance of this being built to handle the vacuum that requires, and I didn't want to take a chance of it not having the vacuum that the older one requires. So we're gonna have to do some converting here. We got the roles reversed here. I'm the guy.
Your shop.
I'm watching. Does this mean y'all gonna weld the truck together too? That thing is so much smaller.
It's good.
It is.
Plastic just crunching.
You don't need that.
I drive a Ford every day. I drive a Kia.
It doesn't look good.
It's looking like manual brakes. Or a Geo Metro.
Or maybe, I don't know how. That really sucks with Rock Auto too, because it's so expensive to send stuff back because you got to pay for the shipping.
Oh yeah, it's not even worth sending anything back.
No, it's not. So I have one of those now. Let's I don't know.
I should have manual brakes on the Mustang, right?
Yeah.
You could always go to a 6-inch cylinder, but I don't think it's going to be the great idea.
The 6-inch. Okay, upgrade is went to back and brake.
Oh,
This drums. Yeah, it should be manual brakes.
come on, Daddy.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. You're gonna clear it. You're gonna clear it. Oh!
Yeah, clear's great, man.
Dude, it's way.
It's a 1/2 inch, so what if we cut down the bracket on the back of the booster?
So what you're not clearing by is from the threads on the back side over.
The threads on the back side over.
Oh, I'm sorry. So look at where the fitting is, from the fitting over of the circle.
Mm.
the back side of the thread.
Yeah.
So like if it's up there like this, from here back
Oh,
is
we're
what you're missing it
videoing.
by.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I can bleep stuff out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah,
bleep
yeah,
a lot.
all the colorful language that
I'm
goes
a
on.
very colorful person.
There's a lot of bleeping going on in this one.
I can't cuss during the day because the kids. So I gotta let it out from the garage, you know.
So what I can do, which doesn't matter.
Scrap the whole project.
No, I got a solution. Go over to the bin of randomness over here. If I put a donut on first, like,
Oh, do you have one of them spacer plates? You keep them at?
hold on.
You got an inch.
So it will never travel higher than that, ever.
Yeah, you have
So
right at an inch of clearance.
it all depends on how big the fitting is that's going to go in there. If the fitting will clear.
You do a 90.
I planned on running a 45. Let me go through my bin or my box of stuff. Whoa, 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 whoa. Almost lost it. I wanted to run a 45 because a 90, oh, it doesn't feel very good. A 90 restricts so much flow because it has to create that sharp. I mean, as long as the cylinder doesn't turn ever, it won't hit it.
Clearance is clearance.
Show everybody what we got here. That's I don't know. If I could keep the cylinder in place somehow, it would work. Does anybody know of a smaller booster that I can run? And does anybody want a brand new booster for a 84 Ranger? Because I don't think I can use it. If I could find something an inch shorter, that's all I would need. It'd be great. Well, it is the next day. As y'all saw, I got the press brake going, so that's a plus. So last night turned into just us talking, trying to figure this out. I don't really think that this is an option. I put the original master cylinder on the new booster. It gave me more clearance than the cast iron one does because it doesn't have that weird droop thing on the bottom of it. But as you can see, there is no room in here to do anything. All of this stuff moves. It doesn't really move side to side because of the way I welded everything together, but it does move a little bit, and this goes up and down. So all it takes for all of this to be ruined and me to not have brakes while I'm driving is for this to drop down and then turn and then lift with this fitting underneath here, and it'll rip everything off. Just one time, and that is very easily done. Like that, there's no reason that that wouldn't happen because all of this stuff moves. Even if you secured it down here and you clamp this thing in place, there's still, it's, you can try to prevent it from turning, but stuff moves. Especially this thing hopping up and down and doing all of the things, and three-wheeling. Three-wheeling is very stressful and stuff because in the front, not so much, but in the rear, the cylinders move a lot. Like they lay over almost to like a 45 or something. It's a lot. So I need to come up with something different from this. We were doing a whole lot of Googling. I found some really wild kits that turn the master cylinder all the way around, and they're fabricated to where it's like a cantilever thing. I don't think I really want to get into all that. I'd much rather just find another master cylinder that I can bolt to this. We actually found on the Summit website, they sell shorter master cylinders. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, at some point, I'm going to try and call Summit because they're not open on, I don't think they'll open on the tech line on Sundays, and see what my options are, if they have anything that I can just buy and hook up and be done with it. That way I'm not like modifying anything because it's a brake system and I really don't want to do all that. It'd be nice if there was enough meat in here to grind that thing, but there's not because this entire tube is essentially a cylinder and it's pressurized. So I can go to a shorter cylinder, which is going to limit my lift. I'd much rather find one of these that actually fits. So again, we're on another week of stuff not working out. We got the press going, so we can make some stuff, and we get some stuff welded together. Still need to put the brakes together on the other side. It's been hard to get out here this week. Been a physically labor-intensive couple weeks of working on stuff. I don't really talk about my normal job, but I work on equipment. And I've been rebuilding a lot of axle stuff on big all-terrain forklifts. And it's been kicking my butt, so I've been tired. And I haven't been out here as much as I'd like to be because I don't have the energy. So what I'd like to do, again, for like the 10th weekend in a row, is I'd like to maybe try to wrap some stuff. The fact that we got the press brake going is going to help that a lot. Along with that, we need to do something different. I think I've explained it before. Every car I've ever built for myself that goes up and down, except for the Mazda, which I'd still like to build one for the Mazda, I prefer the feeling of a real switch, an actual toggle switch rather than a little tiny plastic button. And when it comes to lowriders, that's what you have to run because you need something that can handle higher voltage so they don't get stuck and burnt up and stuff like that. A normal like AVS switch box would just get fried almost immediately. So, I think we're going to whip up one of my switch boxes or switch panels that I put in everything that I've ever owned. They're really simple, they look cool, and they're functional. So, I'm going to try to find a license plate laying around. I have antique plates on this truck. In Virginia, our antique plates are yellow, which I don't have one in the front right now. Our antiques are yellow. We also have black ones, but I think I have another antique plate laying around, or another yellow plate. I'm gonna find that real quick. We're gonna try and make something easy, quick, and cool, I guess. Figured I'd give an example of what we're gonna do. This is my Caprice. If you've never seen it before, it's 2 pumps, 8 batteries, and this has one of my switch boxes in it, or switch panels in it, that I normally run. I make these for everything that I own. Very, very simple. They're more secure than you would think, being made out of a license plate. Couldn't find any yellow ones. I had one that I set aside, and I have no idea what to do with it. But I have a plate off of my dad's truck, and I thought that would be pretty cool to use. Plus, they don't sell these in, well, yeah, they don't sell this anniversary tag because this tag's from 2007. So we're gonna make it out of this. We'll go in the garage. I need to start this thing up. I got this really bad problem where I live in the Bermuda Triangle or something, and everything that I own, if it sits on my yard for like 3 weeks, the battery dies. I've done parasitic draws, I've done testing, I've done all kinds of stuff on all of this junk. And if I just leave it, battery dies. I don't leave anything on, it doesn't matter. I've even disconnected batteries, and they die. There's something going on in this area. I don't know what it is, but let's see. I doubt this thing's got any juice. A little bit. Sounds pretty low, though. Come on. Alright, finally got it started, but it wasn't happy. Ended up having to add some fuel because this thing also loses prime after it sits. But now I gotta get back to work because I'm getting distracted like I do. I'm gonna do a little rough cut here and then trim it up afterwards. It's a start. I don't know about other states, but they don't give you very much room on Virginia's up top, so you got to try to utilize as much of this material as possible to make it have any kind of strength. So I'm going to go through and flatten this edge with a hammer first. A little bit more material to work with. If you're ever interested in building stuff like this and you're trying to do it on the cheap, I don't know what it is about my area. Whenever I try and search stuff on Marketplace, I bought a lot of hydraulic stuff off Marketplace and Craigslist over the years. For some reason, it seems like dudes that get out of it, for some reason they save the switch box, and eventually they sell the switch box. This is a CC switch box. This one's actually new. I don't ever run these big switch boxes because I'm not doing all of these options. This really doesn't pertain to what I need. If I see them on Marketplace, I buy them, especially older ones, because a lot of the older ones have better switches in them, because a lot of newer stuff is Chinese. So here's another, for instance. Here's another old school switch box. Here's another old school switch box. I know for a fact that I have 2 more. Just like everything else that I own, I can't find it when I need it. So this is just to show you. These are, I don't even know what brand, but everybody sells these or used to sell these back in the day. We're not going to be messing with these, but just showing you an example. I think I paid $10 for one, and I think somebody that I knew had the other one laying around. These are great options rather than, like, if you spent 50 bucks on one of these boxes, they're expensive new now for whatever reason. If you spent 50 bucks on it, I don't know if you've looked at the price of switches lately, but they are very expensive. I plan on running this at multiple voltages. Like, I want to run, let's just say 48 to the front or 72 to the front off of basically the switch on the dash. I would like to do a single switch just in case I ever get froggy and I want to do a little bit of hopping. I will run a different set of solenoids and a different voltage to that. And for that reason, I'm going to buy a better switch. The other ones for like driving it on the street and just playing around with it, there's a chance, there's always a chance that a switch will stick and something will go wrong. It's not as much of a chance with different voltages and solenoids getting stuck and all of the things that come along with these processes of building these things. So the switches that are going to be in the dashboard on this CCE box is plenty enough. These aren't 100% junk. Like, obviously, they sell them every day, and there's no problem with them, so that's what we're going to run. I already have one of these taken apart. And again, I can never find anything that I own, so we're just going to pull this one apart. I will be using the 9-wire from it. I will be using at least 4 switches from it. And we are going to use this as a template. It's actually the reason that I've saved the lid off of one of these where the box was blown out. I saved it for making templates because they already did the measurement for you. And you don't have to sit there and hope that when we're lining this guy up that we get these holes exactly where they need to be. It's already done on this. This might make some people cringe, but it doesn't matter. All of this stuff is going to get rewired. Can't reach my fat fingers in there. With this stuff, it's really only required if you're doing a single pump to run a 3-prong switch. But what I've found, and what works best for me, because there's go bags, and we've been over the go bag thing. I keep extra switches in my Caprice. I keep extra switches in whatever I have that has these toggle switches. What I like to do, because sometimes it doesn't burn up the entire switch, if you wire these up to where you're utilizing a 6-prong switch, but you only need a 3 for a single pump setup that has 1 dump, a lot of the time it will, not all the time, not saying it every time, but sometimes it'll only burn up a contactor on one side of this switch. And sometimes you can get away with just pulling the wires off and switching them to the other side, on the side of the road, to get you going, to get you home. So rather than utilizing these little skinny guys, I'll put this whole thing in there because it doesn't hurt anything. It's not like it's going to affect anything. It's worth the time on the side of the road to just unscrew 2 contactors and move them over. That's all it is. Sometimes the entire switch goes bad. It does happen. Sometimes this whole thing will melt into a little puddle of plastic. But again, maybe it'll save you some time while you're sitting on the side of the highway and you're trying to not get ran over, to just move a couple things over rather than taking the entire switch out and rewiring a new switch back into it on the side of the road. Sometimes you don't get that lucky though. What we're gonna do, and I save literally all of these. I know where that tote is, I'll show you. I have a lot of switches on standby for this very case. I never run those big bulky boxes. I have in the past. And nothing's more exciting than you driving down the road and you have this thing on your center console and you bump it with your elbow and it has switch extensions and this whole thing hits the ground and your car just slams down onto the ground and you're trying to reach behind you. I'm pretty sure my buddy Rodney was with me that day. somebody was in the car. Maybe it was James. I don't know. It was after that day. I just stopped doing that. I swore to myself I would just put them on the dash because it is much more convenient and less sketchy than this big old box flopping around in your car and potentially somebody hitting it or you hitting it with your elbow. So I've been trying to slowly organize all my junk, and I've been putting this together. I've obviously stripped a couple fuse boxes here, so whatever these won't get used, they'll just go in the box. But again, I save them, and you have, it seems like CCE over the years has mostly used these ones that are called space, and then everybody else just kind of gets whatever they get. Some of these are rated for a lot more. Again, I'll be buying a little bit better quality switch for the front pump because of the voltage difference. I know that that voltage doesn't change going through the switch and all of that stuff. It's just, it's the more potentially scary one. So I went through all of my junk, and as you can see, I save a lot of these for this exact thing. We'll do probably do a test one first, make sure we get our bend right. But these guys, perfect templates. Just lay this on there where it needs to be, and your holes are already spaced, just in case you want to put one of these fat switches in there, because the distance between these guys is so much different. So I utilize whatever that measurement is. I'm not going to try and figure that out. If you've never seen these before, these are called centering punches. These are very handy to own. And how they work is you find the size that you need that is exactly the size of the hole that's already in the material. So this is a pretty tight fit. There's not really any wiggle room. These have a little dimple right in the center. So this automatically finds the center of whatever you're trying to find the center of. It's a nice thing about these CCE covers is they're clear. I can get this lined up where I want this to lay, which would be like the center of the letters. Take this guy, sure I still got that in the middle. Puts nice little dimples in there. Grab a uni bit and ream those out real quick. Cheap countersinks for wood work really good as deburring tools for thin stuff like aluminum. If I drop it on the ground. As long as I break it above that, we'll be alright. You most definitely do not need a brake like this. I just own one and I never use it, or I feel like I never use it, so I need to justify my purchase. Trim these up a little bit. These are the extensions that I picked up from the truck stop on the way back from Carlisle a couple months ago. These are super simple to install. Just a little tiny set screw. Not bad. I gotta pop a couple holes in there. I kind of like the rough look of it because the truck is obviously not perfect. So I gotta figure out what to do with this little fuse handle thing there, but something like that look pretty good. It's pretty straightforward, simple thing, but if you like the idea, it saves you from spending, I mean, if you got a much nicer looking license plate, like the test panel one, saves you from spending, I don't know what those things are. Some of them are like $100, like the ones that are like have Lincoln or Chevrolet and all that stuff on there. I think it's cool to represent your state. So of course it's in my name for everything I have, so it makes total sense to me at least. But yeah, we're gonna get back to doing some heavy steel stuff because if you can't tell, I'm procrastinating. I get like, I don't know about y'all, but I hit like little speed bumps as far as like the brakes go. Like I had my mind set on, we're gonna put this brake stuff together. I'm gonna get the brakes tied up, and then I'm gonna do the frame and all this stuff, and then everything with this truck so far is you throw a wrench in there and it kind of changes my mind on what I wanted to do that day because I am thinking about possibilities for that, and then I get distracted and then I want to do something else rather than finishing the thing I probably should have finished in the beginning. Like I say, it's that whole ADD thing, and there's things that trigger it to where I just get straight away and I don't want to do that thing because I'm not upset, but like, I don't know, discouraged. Like your mom says, I'm not mad at you, I'm just upset. It's one of them things. I'm not mad at the truck. I just gotta take a break. So let's get back on cutting some 3/16. We need to finish that template that I started like 2 weeks ago, I feel, and make this bracket thing and then fill in the gaps. If we can do that today, I'll be happy. Again, we're delayed parts and all of the things that it sounds like I've been complaining about, but I promise I'm not complaining, I'm just stating facts. So let's say you have a really roughly drawn circle that you freehanded and you need that general area. You have a hole saw, you're trying to find the center of this. If you take your hole saw, you can, generally speaking, get it centered in your really rough sketch. But the problem is finding the center of that hole saw. So again, we're going to go back to the center punches here that were made to find the center of anything. The only thing that sucks about this exact situation, it's a 5/8 arbor, but it's a 5/8 with threads. So we're kind of in the middle. So my center punch, I got to hold it as centered as I can. It's not 100% exact, which isn't the best, but we're pretty close. Again, it's a badly drawn circle by hand anyway. Center punch. That is the middle. looks like it could probably come over a little bit. It'd probably be a little easier if I had this thing upside down. I think that's going to be a little bit more exact there. That hole, not that hole. All right, looking pretty good. Gotta figure out where we're gonna put our bend, which it should be somewhere around here-ish, I believe. Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. I'm not 100% positive if this thing is capable of this, because this is a pretty long piece of 3/16, but we'll see what happens. Do a test fit. I don't want to go too far. That's pretty much 90 degrees, but it's not bad. It's not like super crisp bend, but I think that'll work. Fits nice and tight around that cup. I knew that I was going to have to basically weld it here, and then bend this section down because this is like dips. But that looks pretty good. I left a little bit of a gap that's going to be there. It's going to have to accommodate for the 3/16 that's going to be on top of the frame. I actually got to make that first. But yeah, looks pretty good. It's either that or I could tip it in and weld it to the edge of the frame. That way when I'm welding, maybe that's what I'll do. Because when I put this plate up here, I'll weld that plate to this at the same time, maybe? I don't know. Let me stare at it for a few minutes and figure out what's stronger, I guess. Well, just like I usually do, I'm running out of time. But we sort of ish made progress. We made some stuff. We welded some stuff. We're going to say it's a win to look past all of the random stuff that's not working out. But hopefully I can get that figured out this week. Hopefully. Oh man, I ruined that lens again. I really got to stop doing that. Yeah, it's bad. I'm about to order one of those. Hopefully, Summit or Jags or whoever I call tomorrow will have a solution for me as far as the brake master cylinder goes. But I got all of this guy welded together, and it looks pretty good. I was going to TIG weld this, but I felt like the landing of where the weld was going to sit would look really nice with a MIG weld, and it turned out pretty good. So all of that is done up. Need to do that other side, but I have a helmet that I made in order to get my head inside of tight places. I just chopped the top off and put leather on there, kind of like a really ghetto pipeline helmet. But this allows me to get in here so I can actually see what I'm doing. Because with my normal helmet, it's like this tall. The batteries are dead, so I can't use it. I attempted to use it and I just flashed my eyes. So that didn't work out. And I don't think I can actually see what I'm doing in there enough to get that done. So I'm going to stop there. Again, I keep hiccuping, running into roadblocks or whatever you want to call this. I'm going to pick up some batteries, hopefully a master cylinder. I'm going to keep making templates. I'm going to attempt to get here this week. No promises. I promised last week, but that didn't work out. Hopefully we can get some stuff done. I found a company that sells 2 3/4 ton springs for this. So those hopefully will be here soon. I couldn't find a true 3-inch coil that wasn't a full stack, that wasn't like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are sold out right now. What I think I ordered should work out. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I don't know when those are going to be here because I haven't gotten a confirmation for that, and knowing how everything's been going and Christmas is coming up, I'll probably get them in like March, maybe. But again, not complaining, just throwing it out there, everything that's been going on, so y'all understand why I haven't gotten very far, which is what it is at this point. But don't forget to subscribe. There is a giveaway. I will be making a giveaway video probably this week. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to do like we did with the last giveaway in the beginning of the year. All you got to do is subscribe. You just got to be subscribed. Once I make the video, you comment on the video. Once we hit 4,000 subs, 4 people will win a t-shirt apiece. And then I'll probably do a handful of sticker packs. I've been working pretty hard this week. Even though I haven't been in the garage, I've been trying to come up with different stickers that I can ship out that don't get damaged. I tried to ship stickers out a long time ago, and it didn't really work out. They were too big. You couldn't fold them. There was like, some of them were sent out and came back to me, and it did whatever it was. I sent out 10 packs of stickers this week for all of those people that were supposed to receive them before. So I apologize for that. I've been working on it, trying to get that stuff squared away to where I can confidently tell y'all that I have stickers available very soon. Very, very soon. It's the same thing with t-shirts. But I appreciate y'all watching. I will see you next Sunday. We're going to try and get something done by then. I really hope, because the last 3 weeks have been kicking my butt. But I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you next Sunday.